So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Who's excited to end your Sunday? I mean, how many times can you say, you know, so Susan, what did you do last Sunday? Oh, I went to a masterclass with Worldwide Forager. Oh, I was on Netflix. Right? My name is Björn. I'm going to be your MC for the last session. I see some familiar faces. Greg is really passionate about food, but really from an indigenous space. And what's great about it, I remember actually we had a little moment earlier. I was like, what are you doing? And so what I'm excited to teach you, or he's excited to teach you about, is just how you can use what we have available that we just often don't use in maybe a way that we could because we just don't know. If you want to learn more about this incredible human, he's got 2 books, Gregory Henderson, and it is available at Exclusive Books. He came from a corporate space, he managed hotels, and then he decided, no, he's going to get involved with doing what he's doing. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Greg. Greg, thank you very much, and take us home.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for joining me. So today we're going to be doing something very fresh. There's going to be one element of cooking, then we're going to do construction, and we're going to talk about ingredients, because to me, it's always good to know where your food comes from and the benefits you get from your food. So the star of the show is going to be this protea over here. And I don't know if you've ever seen it before. It grows around the Western Cape quite prolifically. It's known as the sugar bush. So the sugar bush you'll see in the pipettes in front of you right there is basically the nectar which I've mixed with a bit of fynbos vinegar. And we're going to basically make a pickled cucumber, and we've done really thin rice paper sheets which creates the mirror to the final construction of that dish. But to let you know a little bit more what I do, we talk about the 9 biomes of South Africa, and I've got a very short video for you to watch so you can start understanding that within Southern Africa we've got 9 biomes that have 9 different food systems which relate to 9 different cultures in South Africa. And this is where the true flavors and true ingredients come from, South Africa. So you may play away. There's supposed to be some music as well, but it's all right. But as you folks can see as well, we've got different types of ecosystems that hold different types of ingredients, highly nutritional foods. This goes back to very ancient times when the First Nation people used to roam our country, but it also talks about different ingredients that came through migration through Southern Africa. The problem with our food system nowadays has been a lot of introduced crops as well, and not nutritional foods, and these now provide a space that grow wild and indigenous, but part of a natural formed ecosystem where fauna and flora and humans start living symbiotically together. And this is what we want to get to start educating people about these foods that we are overlooking. In front of me, I've got a bowl of herbs, and they're a bunch of herbs that actually grow within Southern Africa from the Western Cape. And I'm just going to pass them around to you. So this one is what they call Agaphosma lanceolata. It's your honey buchel. And this one they know, and everybody should know this from your garden. This is what they call the wild rosemary, Erythrophyllus africanus. It's your Cape cotton bush as well. So have a squeeze of that, have a smell of that. Grab a little piece of that because you're going to use it in your cooking. So just pull a little piece off there, strip it down. The next one we've got here is a nutmeg geranium. So you've probably got this growing in your garden, and you say, well, that smells nice, but you know what? You can actually cook with it. So now today we're going to start utilizing these in how we're going to actually start cooking with it. So I'm going to pass them around. And just grab a little piece of it, and we're going to create that botanical infusion in that as well. Then we've got something very strong here. So I don't like to cook with a lot of garlic and commercial garlic as well because I know what it does to the soil. So this is something that they call the garlic buchel. All right, Agaphosma apiculata is its name, botanical name, but it's very strong. So we don't have to use so much in order to cook with it. So once you smell it, and just grab a little piece for yourself, you're going to start smelling how strong those terpenes and those flavors are. So to start off with the dish, we're going to start off with your seed crumble. So in front of you, you're going to have a bowl of seeds. You're going to have some maple syrup, which has been tapped. You're going to have some lemon zest. And you're going to have some chipotle spice. Does anybody know what chipotle is? It's a smoked jalapeno that has been dried. So it's used in a lot of Mexican cooking as well, but we're going to use those flavors to bring it in because you know what? South Africa has a diaspora. We've got mixed cultures. People came here. We had settlers that came in. So we've got a variety of flavors we get to play with. So what I would like you to do first is get your pan on there, and you're going to get your pan into number 3 on that. That's basically a medium heat. Gentlemen, I just need a plug for that to charge the blender. Okay, but I need it here. Cool. You don't mind. Thank you. All right. So we're going to get your pan up to a bit of a heat, folks. So just feel with your hand on the base there. Once you start hearing it, feeling it heating up, I want you to take your seed mix, and we're going to lightly toast this, because when we start toasting seeds in that, we start extracting things we call natural oils. This is when we start getting those real flavors. The same works with spices as well. When you put spices into a pan and you gently warm them up, all those natural oils start coming out. So we're going to take those seeds, we're going to put them into the pan. And we're just going to let them sit there for a little bit because we want them to toast. So the trick is, please don't burn your nuts. Okay, don't burn your seeds. Okay, that's the trick behind this. Now, while those seeds and all of that is busy warming up now, you've got the zest in front of you. Now, this is going to give you that beautiful citrus profile that you'll get within this crumble. So you're going to take a little bit, sprinkle it evenly around, so we can start forming all those flavors, because within the lemon rind, there's oils too. So this process starts extracting all those oils. See, I'm a chef, so I toss my pan, but if you're not too comfortable doing this, please stir it. All right. So now while we're talking about this, it's going to be a very, very, very fresh dish. So we've got these cucumber pills in front of us, which have been melon balled. And we're going to take a fine-boss vinaigrette and we're going to drizzle it over. So in front of you, you've got those little pipettes. So take those pipettes and start drizzling it over your cucumbers. The nice thing with cucumbers is that it pulls a lot of flavor out of, obviously, everything that you put in, so it absorbs it beautifully. So I'm very lucky. I've got a big bottle. So inside those pipettes, there's two very secret ingredients there. Number one is a fine-boss vinegar. This is basically a brown malt vinegar that I've taken some of the herbs that I've shown you now. I've left it inside there to infuse. Don't forget to shake your pans. Right, you're going to start smelling the aromas come out. I've let this fine-boss vinegar infuse for about a week. So all those beautiful terpene flavors pull into the vinegar itself. So we're going to drizzle that all over our cucumbers. So I want to give you, now you put your maple syrup over there, sir. Yeah, these are the pipettes over here. It's no problem. We've got more. Those are the pipettes, yeah. So this is what they call a pipette, ladies and gentlemen. Inside here, there's a mixture of fine-boss vinegar and sugar bush syrup. So remember I talked to you about the star of the show. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about this plant, because I'm going to actually use the flower to dress my dish. Just drizzle it on top, but I'm going to come with some extra special sauce and put it on top for you. So you can, yours is going to be lovely and sweet. No problem, sir. All right. Okay, so just pass it around, put a squeeze on your thing. And remember, don't burn your seeds, so give your pan a toss. All right, so you're going to start smelling all those oils coming through. Can you smell it? Can you smell the citrus? Can you smell the seeds? Okay, now we're pulling all those natural oils out. Now, we're going to take our maple syrup. Please, gents, will you give me some more maple syrup? A gentleman wanted a very sweet mixture over there. All right, so we're going to take our maple syrups. Now our pan is nice and hot. What we want to do with this, we want it to caramelize a bit. So when you let it caramelize a little bit as well, it helps it to basically become at a crack stage where you can make a crumble out of it. So I'm just going to pour mine around the edge of my pan, and you're going to see it's going to start bubbling like that. You notice that, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, it's going to bubble a little bit like that. Then we toss it. Right. Now you're going to have to take your spoon, and you're going to have to mix it in nicely, and we're going to toast it so it all comes together. Are we winning? It's coming. That's going to be with you shortly, ma'am. All right. Are we winning, ladies and gentlemen? Are we doing good? Can you smell those flavors coming together? Can you see that maple syrup reducing? You're going to hear a snap, crackle, and pop shortly. So once you hear that snap, crackle, and pop, you take it off the heat. All right. Now we're going to let it cool. But just make sure that you've mixed all those seeds and the maple syrup and the lemon zest together so that it comes up beautifully.
It smells amazing.
Yeah. Generally, good food does. All right. So we're going to put that aside now. All right. We're going to let that cool. When that cools, it's going to get nice and hard. All right. Folks, yours will be with you shortly. Now, next up, we've got the chipotle spice. Are we all right? Shall you walk around? Yours is coming? No problem, ma'am. It's going to be with you shortly. That is looking beautiful. You cook at home, sir? Oh, I'm glad, eh? Lovely. You put your maple syrup in yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. So the spice we do the next thing. Okay. So you see how it's sticking at the bottom of your pan there?
Yeah.
Remember I said drizzle around the side of it and it's going to thing, and then you mix it together. But it's okay. It's going to come together. Perfect. All right, folks, how are we doing in the back here? Looking stunning. Beautiful. Oh, yours is looking the best, ma'am. All right. So we've got this chipotle spice here, guys. So don't put the whole thing in. All right. You plug it in for me, love. So what we're going to do, we're going to take sprinkles. All right. You're just going to take a sprinkle and put it on top, and a second sprinkle, put it on top. The trick with seasoning is not to season low, but to season high. So when you do season high, it starts distributing. Did you get your maple syrup, ma'am? Beautiful. Look how nice they're coming together now. You're going to have extra toasty one. All right. Thank you. So once we've done that now, you're going to start seeing how the chipotle spice starts bringing out more of a smoky flavor to your crumble mix. Now just mix that in very, very gently. Okay. Now I'm just waiting for the guys. We all got our blue bowls next to us. Right? So the blue bowls is going to be there for a reason. We're going to start constructing a dish soon. I'm just going to do a check with everybody to see how we're doing. You put your chipotle in there? Starting to smell good, hey? So you can turn the heat off now. Okay, once you've done that, you can turn the heat off. Yeah.
Okay, I think I did it a little bit wrong maybe.
No problem. Okay, you see how it's bubbling like that?
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. So we call that caramelization.
I think
Okay.
I did it with the chipotle.
That's okay. You got to eat it, eh? All right, so we're doing well. We're looking good. You got the chipotle spice in it. Lovely. Let's put it to the side. Let it cool off now. Right? You're going to need a little bit more maple syrup. Sorry, ma'am. Stealing yours. Friends will share yours. So you put that on the side there. You see how it bubbles like that as well? That's exactly what you want to see. And it's going to incorporate into itself. Now, these blue bowls in front of you, let's just clear the herbs out of them and put them on the side, because that's where we're going to start constructing our dish. All right? Let's put some more of that maple syrup in for you, ma'am. You see how that bubbles beautifully? Let it bubble first. Let it bubble. Because now what you're doing, you're caramelizing now. So you bring all those oils together. And when you taste this at the end, it's going to be delicious. Ah, you've done this before, eh? Yeah, that's perfect. Eh? So we take it off the heat now. Right, did you all put that syrup inside? So take your pipettes, please. And let's put them all, that liquid inside your pipettes over your cucumbers. Because now we're marinating. So we've got some extras here. I'd like to put a little bit more in for you, because this is such a delicious sauce to have. Okay. No problem. No, I'm sorry. It's been all the good food I'm eating. My bum's getting bigger.
I mean, that's a good thing, right?
All right. Thank you very much. Cool. So, you know, we've made all these melon balls. And one thing I hate is waste. You know, we always end up with a product like this, and what do we do with it? So I'm going to show you a little trick now. So we've already made some puree here, which goes into this container. So I'm going to take a bit of this. I'm going to put it inside the blender. And I'm going to show you this, because this forms the base of our dish. Now, while I'm busy doing this and putting this inside, one of the trainees is going to walk around, and they're going to start issuing you 2 sheets of this beautiful Hargrow pastry. So we talk about mirrors. And this becomes the mirror because it becomes very translucent and see-through, which eventually we're going to put one at the base. We're going to put some of the avocado and some cream cheese. We're going to put the cucumber pearls. Then we're going to put the crumble. We're going to lay this on top with some flowers underneath that as well. And it's going to be a botanical mirror. All right. So will everyone just please take 2 and then just put them on the side. All right, the side of your bowl. Okay. If you would like to, you can go and taste a little bit of your nut crumble or your seed crumble there, and you'll start tasting all those flavors that come into it as well. So those little herbs that you guys got, if you want to put a few of those inside there, develop your own botanical flavor with those as well. So whatever flavor you feel is going to work beautifully with that, please add it in. All of them are edible. Remember that garlic bohu is very, very, very strong. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of garlic tips inside of mine. And I'm going to take a little bit of wild rosemary and break that up. Because a bit of fresh herb inside that changes the different flavors that you're going to start getting. Now that I've got a bit of puree in here, what's wrong? I'll be with you right now. That's fine. Just turn it off completely.
I did.
Okay, so you can leave it on there. All right. So the thing with inductions, like they say, the minute you start, you turn it off, it's supposed to be cold. They lie to you. All right, it's still hot. And especially with a cast iron plate, you've also got to remember that the cooking continues. So that's why I said let's turn it off and let it sit beautifully as well. I'll get you some more syrup there, sir. You're getting special sauce now.
Must I put it on again?
Yeah, just you want to caramelize it a little bit. So what you're going to start smelling now, once you've put those herbs in, you're going to start smelling all the aromas coming out. Yours is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Ab, you're doing such a good job, yeah. Right, man, beautiful. So you can start smelling all the flavors coming out of the herbs now. Yeah, the little fresh. Just take a little piece. So if you want a bit of garlic buchu, just take some tips and put some tips in there. If you want a bit of wild rosemary, put a bit of wild rosemary in there. That there is a honey buchu. So have a smell. Everything about food is about a sensual experience. What you see, what you taste, and what you touch, and what you smell. Okay. So now I'm praying that the battery for the hand blender is ready, which I'm sure it is. Because now I'm going to take this cucumber puree with some coconut water. And this coconut water is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to do 50-50 of this. Oh, that is terrible. So what I'm basically going to make with this right now is what we call a cucumber air. All right, it's a very, very, very light foam. It's very delicate on your palate, but it's become the base of our dish. So that Hargrow pastry that came across now, we're going to put the sheet and we're going to put it down on the base. There's a special product that you use for it. It's called soya lecithin. Okay, this you can buy from Wild Peacock Foods, which is based in Stellenbosch. It's a beautiful company, and all the molecular gastronomy products that I use within my cooking can come from that store. It's putting a bit of science back into your food, but through natural elements. So with that amount of mixture, we put 1 teaspoon. So it's generally 1 teaspoon, so about 375 mils. Okay. Now we pray that it's charged. Okay, we've got a bit of juice. Lovely. Okay, so when we're doing this, we want to aerate. Okay, we've got to turn the speed up here. Need Schumacher. And you're going to notice, as I'm busy pureeing this in the air, it starts developing a foam. You see that foam? And what the powder does, it gives you a stable foam. So it's not like you're foaming it and it dies. It kind of holds its viscosity. I'm going to walk around, and if you can get your bowls nice and clean for me, I'm going to start ladling a teaspoon of that inside for you. So this is a technique. You see how I'm sitting it there. So I'm able to catch the foam in the back, and I'm aerating it. You see, very stable foam. Okay, lovely. I'll put the air down. You're doing good, love. You're doing good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, kind sir. Okay, so you see how stable that foam is? It sits absolutely beautifully on your plate. Now the reason we put in the foam down first, because we're going to put the first sheet of pastry down, and we don't want it to stick to the plate. But this is going to give it a different element where it's going to basically create a bit of a dressing for you. It will go onto the base of your plate. So we apply a bit of science into cooking. See how nice and stable that foam is? Okay, and that'll hold its shape beautifully. Like anything on the ground, we're trying to be inspired by nature, with nature. Nope, stop, take it out, take it out. Okay, we first put the foam down, because obviously if you don't put it first, it's going to stick to the bottom of your plate. All right. So let's all lay your first sheet of your Hargrow sheet nice and evenly at the bottom. Gents, can you organize me a bowl, please, so I can do a plating too? Thank you very much, kind sirs. Okay. Then in front of you, we've got obviously this avocado. All right, beautiful. And I'm going to show on this gentleman's plate. You've got 2 sheets there. Take the one sheet out. Yeah. Let me help you there. There we go. So once you've actually put the first sheet on, can you see how the bubbles are coming through? It's floating on those bubbles. Then we've got some avocado mousse here, which is just basically normal avocado and a nut cream cheese. So we're just going to pop 3 dots. And I'm going to do this one for the gentleman, yeah? I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3. I'll just show everybody quickly. So we're going to do it like that. Everybody can see that. Okay, just 3 dots like that, okay? So I'm going to pass it on to you, ma'am, if you can just pass that around. The next one that we're going to do, we're going to take the nut cream cheese, which is a herb nut cream cheese, and everything we plate within our restaurants is always done in odd numbers, 3, 6, 9, 12. So the next one we're going to do another 3 dots of this. 2 and 3. Okay, so you see what I've done there? Now that's the base now. So all the cucumbers that we've pickled now, we're going to start gently placing them beautifully. All right. So the cucumber that you got in the pickle, just take a spoon and let's mix it up. Do you have spoons? Luckily, I've got. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I have spoons for you. Please do not stress. Don't look in your handbag for one. There we go. All right. So just give them a nice little bit of a toss. All right. Beautiful. It's looking stunning. Look at that. It's floating on air. Doesn't that look cool? Lovely. You've got a spoon? Beautiful. All right. So do you want me to help you with the demo? Are you fine? Yeah. Okay. So when we're plating now, you want your cucumbers just to sit in a circle, and then you're going to start building a pyramid towards that. Okay. So let me show you with yours. Okay. So you're still waiting for the puree. So generally in a restaurant, we have 15 minutes to prepare an order. And when the chef says, new order, everybody goes, yes, chef. All right. So we've got to be nice and fast. Beautiful. So you see, we're going to take it and start aligning it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then start building it up into a pyramid. All right. You got that? Okay. You got that. Looking beautiful. Okay. No, not yet. That's the last thing that we do. So you're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. And you start building it up. Okay. You get that? Okay. You see how you keep going up, but keeping it together. Right. Building it up. So the trick behind this, folks, is to keep it all together into a beautiful round circle. So that when we put that next pastry on top of it, don't worry about it, eh? It's all about learning. You know, so once we get into that, so you can keep building up your pyramid. So you put one in the center there, another one over there. And you see how you can start stacking it. So cooking is a lot like building. You know, we start building the things and we start going layer by layer by layer by layer. So once we've done that, we're going to do the next thing. The next thing is, it's perfect like that. We're going to now take the crumble. And with that crumble, we're going to sprinkle it on top. So as you can see now, once it's cool, it becomes nice and crunchy. Now we've got texture with the cucumber. All right? So we're just going to take a sprinkle, and we're going to sprinkle that crumble inside there. You can put some more if you want, sir. All right. You can start building it up a bit more. So you can do See those open spaces over there? You build it up like a pyramid. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you can see your foam. It's still very stable, eh? It's looking good. It's floating on air. That's beautiful. Cool. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. How are you, ma'am? Top of the morning. Do you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to give you mine. All right. So you get to take my crumble. Okay. So we're just going to take a bit of that crumble there.
Okay.
We're just going to sprinkle it on top like that.
Not the best, not the worst.
No, not at all. But you know, you need that sugar crunch to it because that's really what makes this crumble so delicious.
Yes, thank you.
So I want you all to notice again your foam, your air, it's floating on air at the moment. Okay. That's looking absolutely beautiful. Then the next thing we have are these beautiful things that they call micro herbs. So you all see the micro herbs here? Okay, so we're going to take the micro herbs and you're going to do an arrangement now. You're going to start popping them into the sides. So we start building a little floral garden. But these have got like radish and mustard, so they've got that peppery finish to it as well. And you just keep building it around like that, sir. Okay, I'll leave that to you. All right. So try and take your herbs and let them wrap around those cucumber pills. Okay, the herbs, not the flowers. The flowers are the last. Yeah. Yeah, so we take the flowers out. No problem at all. So obviously these flowers aren't indigenous, they're violas, but they grow within your garden. The lovely thing about these flowers, they've got a beautiful blue pigment to them. And it's nice if you're doing pigment extracts for painting, trying to make a sauce or a vinegar, you can boil them and you can pull those pigments out of it. Beautiful, look at that. Then the next thing on top of that, we're going to start placing our flowers. And let's only use 3 flowers for this, because remember, we always plating 3, 6, 9s or 12s.
Why?
Why? Because chefs are odd people, so we plate in odd numbers.
I think it was aesthetics.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. And it keeps obviously your formation of your dish. So when you plate in 3s as well, 3 bites is more for somebody to eat as opposed to 4 bites. If that makes sense to you. Okay. That's looking beautiful, love. Right, now we're going to do your flowers.
Nice.
Fabulous. That's looking good, eh? Now the last but not last, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the last piece of your pastry on top of that. Now try to space it out quite evenly. It's looking delicious. So let's try to space it beautiful and open it nicely so that we can drape it over that. Okay. Then that's going to go, but you want to see the botanical flowers underneath it. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Botanical Hargrow Mirror. But there's another thing that I'm going to finish this dish off. So we spoke about the star of the show. The Protea repens, the sugarbush flower. And what makes the sugarbush flower so special, that inside it produces a copious amount of nectar. That in the old days, it used to be harvested by just tapping the plant over, harvesting that sap dripping inside of a bucket. Then they used to reduce that by half, and there used to be suikerbosie strop, which you used to have for your cough.
No ways. Didn't know that.
Absolutely. Another thing about it, there's 3 ways that you can harvest this. This is very fresh still, but there's another time when it can be fermented, left in the flour for a little bit longer, which gives it a bit of a more of a sour tang taste. But then there's a special thing called an ant. So ants are very, very attracted to this as well. And what happens when the ants go inside it? The ants get stressed because they get stuck into the syrup. They release something called formic acids. And that's something that our body lacks. So by us putting this in the food, we get those trace amounts of those micronutrients for our body for a healthier diet. So when we're done with that, I'm going to use for a show, if that's okay, sir. So as you can see, as I tip this over,
good grief.
you're going to see the sap come out. All right. So I'm going to come across and just dress all of your dishes. They look absolutely amazing.
And Greg, how do you tap into getting that sap, or is it there naturally?
It's there naturally. So the story behind this plant, the Cape Dune Strandveld ecosystem. In the old days, they used to cut this plant down in order for firewood. And I always talk about getting inspired by nature to put back into the own garden. And this is a plant that you should do because it brings in all the biodiversity. It brings in all the sugar birds, the bees, all of that who are reliant on it. But if you look very closely inside this flower, it's basically a bud with hundreds of little flowers inside. So there's enough nectar inside here for both fauna and humans, but also for the plant to keep on living because we don't have to cut whole plants off. All of this stuff comes from my own garden. So I got inspired by nature to regenerate and propagate within my own garden so that I could have a unique collection of ingredients that didn't damage any other ecosystems. So when we talk about sustainable foraging, this is what sustainable foraging is all about. The problem we live in urban spaces nowadays, there's a lot of pollution, and picking within all those wild ecosystems, you can't do it sustainably anymore because a lot of the plants are bioaccumulators. We eventually become bioregenerators. So now having this in your garden, you've got access to somebody you cannot even buy in a shop anymore, and you can start creating unique dishes that really put the real flavors of South Africa on a plate. It's not babuti, it's not boerewors, it's not biltong. These are the real flavors of South Africa, and we need to start utilizing them more within our diet. Ma'am, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Botanical Hargrow Mirror. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Well done. That looks amazing. Sure. Well, does everyone have a teaspoon or a spoon to eat it with?
I'll give you some more.
Otherwise, I have.
So the nice thing about the pastry, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can take it with your hands and you wrap it. I believe with food, you should eat with your hands more because you start feeling your food. You get to feel the texture of your food. You get to dip inside your food. But if you're uncomfortable with that, you can still go with a knife and fork or you can go with a spoon. So I've got a whole bunch of spoons over here. And I'm going to give you a knife. Thank you. And just a knife as well. And I'm going to give you a knife. And what you do with the pastry, you just cut it in half. Then the sheets that you've got there, you take those sheets and you grip it together and you put it into your mouth. Thank you. You want to take a knife? You can cut that pastry in half like that. All right. This is all gluten-free, yes. What is the pastry made? So the pastry is made out of tapioca flour, all right? Does everybody know where tapioca comes from? What plant?
No.
No. It comes from a cassava plant.
Wow.
So everybody knows about cassava root. The leaves are poisonous until you blanch them and you cook them, like they do in Fino, Morogo, and further up north in Mozambique, they use it a lot. The root is a very starchy root. So people always get confused with sago and tapioca. And can anybody tell me what the difference between sago and tapioca is? So do they all come from the same flour? So the differences between sago and tapioca, tapioca comes from cassava. Sago comes from the sago heart of the sago palm. One comes from Indonesia, the other one comes from South America. So everybody always says to me that cassava is indigenous, they're using indigenous stuff, and sometimes I've got to correct them because cassava comes from South America. So even sago comes from Indonesia. All right. So please, folks, take your knife, cut through the middle of that dough, get involved, taste the flavors, taste the textures, and you're going to start picking up all the botanical notes. If you want to, add a bit more of that crumble on top of it, and you'll be able to enjoy the full texture of that dish. This is something cold, it's something unique, and it's a very playful dish for you to enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks, it was very...
Enjoying it?
Yeah.
Are we done? Great.
Done.
All right, everyone. I think that was really incredible. I'm sure experiencing new food, new flavors, right? I can see them. So can I ask you to do one last thing? Can you please, as you're putting food in your mouth, let's give yourselves a round of applause and let's thank Greg for taking us home. Thank you. Well done and have a wonderful evening further.